Hey guys, I have got a lot of requests to do something with Flutterwave's bill payment API, especially the electricity and then the cable subscription part of it. This means that I should teach them how to create an app that can enable them pay NEPA bills and GOTV or even DSTV bills. And we do have a lot of bills in there. So once I show you how to go for NEPA bills and then DSTV or GOTV, you should be able to do the rest. And maybe they want to kind of use this app to, for business or even help others pay such bills from home and then even gain a commission at the end, which is cool. Now before I go ahead to show you the demo of the application, I want to use this opportunity to say a huge shout out to AceGuard Company. AceGuard Company is a web development company that also deals with recharge card distribution, data management, and security. You can chat or call them up using the following phone number that is on the screen. So a lot of you guys already requested for the tutorial, but he went extra mile to sponsor the video, and I don't really like doing videos that I will have to pay before I do testing. That's why I have been holding back, but he took away that particular barrier and enabled me do this video. So now let's go back to the website, the application, and see the demo of the application. So this is what it looks like. So what happens is that there are lots of bills on this particular API, but I've just been able to work on two, and once you are able to get this tool, you can really take it on and then do whatever you want to do on the other bills. So this is for electric bill payment or electricity bill payment, and then the second one is for the GOTV payment. And what happens is that this is the landing page where you just have to click on whatever bill that you want to pay. If you click on that, that is going to kind of open the next page for you to fill in the customer the meter number. Once you fill in the meter number and you click on validate, it's going to first of all validate to find out whether that customer already exists or not. Okay, and without wasting much, let's just go back again and then take a look at the other screen. So this one is for the GOTV. So if I click on GOTV right now, you see that we basically have it's going to land us on different pages, but they do almost the same thing. And I couldn't do it in such a way that I should use one page for the validation, because they really have some kind of bill IDs that are really quite different. Okay, so that's why I'm doing it this way. So what we're going to do right now is, first of all, let's go ahead and test or validate this particular bill so that you can understand. Sorry about that. All right, so this is the landing page to the application, and what happens is that you can click on any of the bill payments that you want to make. Let's say you want to pay for electricity, you can click on it and it's going to take you to the page where you have to verify. The same thing applies to clicking on the GOTV, that's the cable subscription part of it. So let's click on the bill, the electric bill payment part of it. Okay, so if you click on this, that's going to attempt to take us to this page right now. And if you watch, I need you to understand some certain things right here. You see, I formatted it in such a way that once I try to validate this customer on Flutterwave's API, I should be able to get the person's real name. The name that the person registered that particular meter number with, coming from NEPA or whatever company that is. Okay, so we're going to get the person's name right here, and then the meter number which we're going to enter down here we're going to fetch that and then put it out here, and then the minimum amount that is to be recharged will be displayed here, and then that of the maximum amount should also be displayed here. Okay, and what this really does is just to find out whether this customer already exists on Flutterwave's platform. Not really Flutterwave, but the NEPA bill, that's the EEDC or whatever name that is called. So, but it's just basically talking about the electricity bill companies, okay, the billers, the companies. Now, what I'm going to do now, without wasting much time, is to impute a meter number right here. Then I'll click on validate to see whether that customer really exists. I'm going to go ahead and enter this one right now. So this is going to be 4356109308308. All right. So if I go ahead and click on validate right now, if that customer really exists, you're going to see that it's going to update this particular part of the website right now. So let's watch and see. And as you can see, that really worked. So the owner of that particular bill, or the smart the meter number, the name that was registered with it is called Ugoke Kelvin. Okay, and this is the meter number, and it has the ability to recharge a minimum of 100 naira and then the ability to recharge a maximum of 50,000 naira. Okay, and if you watch this place before now, this particular link was not showing up. Okay, So but that just popped up now because the validation worked. Had it been that the validation didn't truly work, this particular page will not come out. In fact, we want to test that. We can let's go back from this page to another page. Let's go back to the beginning, and if we click on this, if we enter, let's say we enter a random number that is not correct right there, and we click on validate, we should get an error. Oh yes, and then we get an error. If you watch, these places did not update, and if you see the message, it says invalid customer. And if you look at this place, that link that really showed up that time is no longer showing up, so you cannot proceed to the payment page since the customer is not really found within the biller system. Okay, so it's not found on EEDC or whatever electricity company that you're using, and this one is based on Nigeria, guys, but you have the ability to kind of check for any country that you want to check. So all of them are really there. We have Uganda, we have Ghana, and some other countries in there. Okay, so if we go ahead and put use a particular valid what is it called, number that is correct right now. Let's say we put back what we had before, which is 4356109 then 308, and you click on validate. You see that the validation goes through and then brings back that particular name again. And if you want to test another person, you can go on and then do that. Okay, so that is just that. Then the next thing that you are supposed to do right now is to click on this particular continue to the next page where you have to make the payment. But we have not really tested the GOTV part of it, so let's also use this opportunity to go back and then test for GOTV. Okay, so if you want to validate a number on GOTV right now, so what we need to do is to click on GOTV, and this is going to bring up this page. Of course, what we need to enter right here now is going to be the GOTV's smart card number that belongs to any customer. Okay, so I got one from a friend. So what we're going to do right now is that I'm going to find his a smart card number, and then we're going to input it right here and say what we're going to get. All right, so the smart card number for the GOTV is going to be 73, sorry, that's going to be 3500398. All right, so the smart card number is 7035003908. So if we click on validate, let's check whether that is really valid or not. And that's really valid. That particular customer is attached to this particular name called Mike, and that's correct. That's the name of the person that I collected this particular number from. Okay, and then for the minimum amount that one should recharge, these people really do not set the minimum amount right here, but I think that the minimum amount for GOTV right now is 800 naira per day. The one I did before now was 1,800 naira. Okay, so we can pay between 800 naira and above at this moment. So all we need to do right now to continue from here is we need to go ahead and click on continue to payment, and that's the same thing we have seen on the other page. The two of them are going to lead all of us to the same place. Okay, so I'm going to click on continue to payment page right now, and that's going to take me to this page. And if you watch, what happens is that we're able to take the smart card number and then automatically prefill it on this page, which is really coming from the URL right here, and you can do it your own way. You don't have to. I made this in such a way that it should not be changed, so if you try to click inside and be pressing, it doesn't really work. Okay, so you cannot change that number right now. I made that to be read only. Okay, so that is just the mid-term number right there, and for the amount that you want to pay, I'm going to just go ahead and click here and then type 800. Okay, and down here for the biller name, we are going to go ahead and select the biller that we want to use right now, and I only have two right here. One is for electricity and one is for the GOTV subscription, which I have only GOTV right here, and I'm going to show with you the categories that exist, so you can put all of the payment bill categories into this place so that you can select them and then the payment will go on, or you can even code it any other way that you want. You don't have to do it the same way that I'm doing it. I'm just trying to make sure that I simplify what I'm doing so that you understand it and then build your own from scratch. Okay, you don't have to use mine. But what this is that I just have only two items right here. We have almost 200 or over 200 items right there, but I just choose only two. So I'm going to click on GOTV, and this particular one right now, this is a biller name, and the amount that is attached to that is 800. Okay, so to make the payment right now, I'm going to have to click on pay. But before we do that, you need to be sure that you have some money on your Flutterwave dashboard. Otherwise, this cannot be tested on a free mode. I tried testing it on a free mode, but it did not work. So you must have some money on your Flutterwave account. And I'm going to show you my own right now. So if we go to Flutterwave right now, all right, so this is my Flutterwave account. And if you take a look at this place, you see that I'm on a live mode right now, and I'm using my live keys. Okay, however, what I want to do on this page right now is to let me first of all check my balance. So I'll click on balance, and if you watch, I have about 1088 naira at the moment. So if I make this particular payment, they're going to come into this place and then deduct my money from this place. Okay, all right. And if you want to top up or add money to your account, here is the link. You can click on this top up and then go through the on-screen instruction, and you go ahead and then top up your account with Flutterwave. So they will be charging you from your Flutterwave's account, okay, account balance, or whatever you want to call that. So let's go back to our development environment right now. However, what happens now is that I may have to pause this video here because I got a notification that all this bill that we have on Flutterwave right now, that they are on maintenance mode right now, that most of this what is it called, the electricity bill payments and cable subscription, that they are not going at the moment. So they are at the moment going through some maintenance, and I think that maintenance is really initiated from the kind of disturbance that I was giving them, because I've tested this quite a lot of time and I was having errors, so I have to keep on disturbing them. And now I feel like they really, a kind of took action because of the disturbance that I gave them about their bill payments. Okay, so without wasting much time, what I'm going to do right now is to go ahead and click on this, and if the system is ready now, we should have a positive message displayed to us. However, if it is not ready, we should have something like a biller operator error or something of that nature. So let's click on pay bill, and congratulations, that particular payment is really successful. Okay, that means that they're really ready right now. So as you can see, if you watch this right now, you'll see that the status is set to success. Then the message says the bill payment successful, and now we have this data right here, and where we have phone number is really the smart card number that is going to show there. Then the amount that you just paid is this, then the network, which is GOTV Lite, and then you are going to have your reference key right here, so they're going to give you their reference, and yeah, so that is it. So what I'm going to do right now is that and then I think I should have printed this particular result. I should have a kind of structure it in such a way that it should look like a success page. Okay, so I'm really sorry for that. I want us to go back to our dashboard and see whether they subtracted the money, that 800 naira, whether I took it from the money that we have on Flutterwave. So if we go to this place right now and then we try to refresh this web page, let's go ahead and refresh, and that really worked. So you see that they have deducted my money. So it was 1088 naira before, but now they have kind of deducted the money, and I have only 218 naira right now. So that means that that particular payment went through. Okay, so that is it. And as for electricity bill payment right now, at this moment, I'm quite sure that they are on maintenance mode, so I'm not going to try to test that electricity part of it at this moment. Okay, but I'm quite sure that before you get this video or the source code, they must have been ready. Okay, or before I finish this video, if I check and see that they are really ready or something of that nature, we may have to go through the testing again so that you see that works. Okay, but all the code will be available, and once they're ready, I'm quite sure that you are not going to have any errors. And if you have any errors, you're a programmer, okay, you can debug it. We'll move on from there. So that's just the thing. Then what I'm going to do right now is to just first of all pause this video and then see how I can fetch some of this data and then display it on the success page. Alright guys, so I've created a success page for the payment that just went through, and I know you may be wondering, why should I just create such a success page? What happens is that I tried to reload it after I've added the code that I want to add to the success page, and then I kind of lost the session. Okay, which means that I will have to pay again before I can really generate all of the all of the data that was just shown to us on the screen that time. If I want to see them on this page now, I will have to make another payment, which the money that I have on that particular account is not up to that anymore. So, and adding money to that now is not what I want to do while shooting this video. Okay, so but along as we do the coding, I'm going to make sure that I show you how to output that. We're going to have a success page as we move along. So for now, you may not see the all of the data that we saw on the screen that time on this particular page right now. All right, so let's now try and then go to our development environment and see how we can put something of this nature together. Alright, so to start the development right now, the first thing I want to open is the documentation page. So I'm going to just click on documentation, and that's going to open up on a new tab. Okay, so if you're on this page right now, I normally use the API reference. I'm going to click on API reference right now, and that's going to scroll to this particular section, and then it will open up this part of the application for me. So what I want right now is to go ahead and click on bill payments. That's what I'm working on right now. So I'm going to click on bill payments, and that should scroll to that particular section. Alright, so if you're on this page right now, the first thing that I want to do, according to what I've shown you, we went through this validation. So if you click on validate a bill, it's going to scroll to this particular section where you can now go through the documentation and then create whatever you want to create. But in working with this particular page right now, we're going to need something from this categories page, okay, which we are going to come back to it any moment from now. So, but this is really where the demo started. So what I'm going to do right now is to go ahead and create a folder for the work we want to do, and then we can start working from there. And to do that, let's go to our HT docs. I'm using PHP, and yeah, so let's go to this environment right now. I'm going to create a new folder, which I'm going to go ahead and call. Okay, so let's go ahead and call this. We can call it Billers, just like that. It doesn't matter what we call it. You can go ahead and call your own whatever you want to call it. Okay, but I'm just going to call this Billers. And what I'm going to do now is to go ahead and open it up with my Visual Studio Code. So I'm going to right click on it and then open with code. So we'll have the folder opened right here. So I'm going to close this welcome screen out, and we can go ahead and start creating the files and folders that we need right now. And let's go ahead and create some few files right here. So I think the one I'm going to create right now is going to be the index. Let me just create index.php. The next one that I want to create right now is going to be, so let's create the categories. Okay, so this is going to be the categories.php. That's the categories of the bills. And the next one that I want to create right now is going to be validate. Let's say validate.php, which we're going to use that to validate the electricity bills. Then for the GOTV, let's say validate underscore GOTV.php. So we're going to use this particular one to validate the GOTV. Okay, so yeah, so that's just that. And then the next one that I want to create now is going to be pay bill. So I'm going to just say pay bill.php. Okay, and finally we're going to have to create maybe something like CSS. So we're going to just say style.css. And then the last thing I think should be let's say we're going to have a success page.php. So success.php will be the next one that we should create. If we need more, we can come back to this and then kind of create. So what I'm going to do right now is let me open up only categories right now. So this is the page that I want us to work on right now. Okay, so we need to see the bill, and then the next thing that I want to do right now is to go ahead and paste. There's a code I want to paste now, which is the PHP core configuration, which I usually do most of the time on my web page. I usually code them or write them by hand, but I think it's a kind of repeating myself since the configuration is almost the same all the time. So I'm just going to copy and then paste that so that we can kind of speed up what we're doing on this page, and I will explain that once I paste it. So I'm going to go ahead and paste it right now, and this is it. Okay, so I did not add any special things to it right now. This is basically, if you've been following this channel, this is the basic configuration for call that I have been doing on this channel. I have been coding them, typing them by hand, but I just want to paste that right now so that we can forge ahead. And we need quite a few things right now, which if you look at this place right now, you see that this line is empty. This is really the endpoint, where the endpoint is going to go. That's the bills, the categories bill payments endpoint. So we're going to get that from our documentation, and after that we're going to need something right here. So we're going to need our API key here. So I'm going to enter the word bearer right here. So if you just say bearer, and we're going to go ahead and then first of all get our code, not our code but our API key, and then paste it right there. And to get your API keys, you need to go back to your dashboard. So if you go back to your dashboard right now, alright, so once you are logged in, what you need to do now is to go to your settings. So if you go to your settings and click on settings, alright, so once the settings page opens, you need to go ahead and click on API, and then you can go ahead and copy this one that says a secret key, this one. So that's the one you need to make use of on this particular backend. Then if we go back to the development environment, we can go ahead and then stick that right in here. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and paste that in here. And the next thing that we need now is to get the URL that is to be in this place. So let's go back to our documentation, and while you are on let's go to bills categories. We need to so this is the URL, but before I copy the URL, I want to show you a couple of things right here, which the first one that we are going to need. Okay, I just want you to understand that in these bill categories, you have the power to filter some of the bills that they have on this platform. Like if you want to work on power, that's electricity, you can filter that by typing this power, and you set it to equal to 1 on this particular URL. Okay, so the same thing applies to internet bills. We have toll bills, we have cable, and we have quite a lot of things. So you can go through the list and then see other ones that we have right there. But the thing that I'm going to do right now, let me just go ahead and copy this URL, and it's a GET request. If you take a look at it right here, so I'll copy this, get that copied, and if I go back to my development environment, I'm going to go ahead and then stick it right here, right there. So if I save this web page right now and I go to my browser to try to query that, I should be able to get the bills. All right, so let's access that file. Let's go to localhost / I think we'll call that bill as. So we should go to bill as / categories. So that is what we'll call it. So we'll call it bill as / categories. That's the file we want to access now. So let's see, and we have nothing to show on the screen. I wanted it to print out some kind of data for us. You know what, let's check the code again. Okay, I think maybe the space that I created here is too much. Let's try to bridge this space. Okay, so if we go ahead, let's resave it and then go back and try again. So let's refresh. Okay, congratulations, that space was the error. So as you can see, we have the bill categories printed on the screen for us. This first one is talking about the MTN. Sorry about that. I don't know why my browser keeps on opening new tabs every time I click on the page. So this is just it. We have, this is about AirTime, and yeah, just basically all of the bills that we maybe that Flutterwave offers. Everything will be here, both power and the likes. Okay, so instead of scrolling through this long list, let us filter the searches. For instance, let's say we want to filter only the cables. We want to see cables, things like DSTV, GOTV. If you want to do that, it's really very simple. You are just going to add a parameter to this handle right here, and that is going to be exclamation, a question mark, and we can go ahead and say something like let's say cables, and we can go ahead and set that to be equal to 1. I think that should be cables or cable. Let me check from the documentation. Okay, that should be just cable, not cables. Okay, so if we had an else there, it will be wrong. So I'm going to take away that else and then save the page, save it, and then let's try again on the browser. So if we refresh, we should be able to have just items that are just peculiar to only that of the cables. Oh wow, we got null. Maybe the S should be added back. Let's go back and add that S. Let's say cables and save that, and then let's refresh it again and see whether we can have some data back to the screen for us. And I think, yeah, that should be an S in it. So this is basically going to filter the items that we have on that Flutterwave bill payment, and everything we have here now is just purely cables. Okay, so if you watch, you see this is DSTV payment. The next one is also DSTV, and even GOTV. Everything about those cables will be listed, and even with the country codes. So this one we have here is for Uganda, GOTV value, and let's look for the one that is for Nigeria. Let's know whether we can find that in here. So you basically know your country's code. Okay, so this one is for Nigeria. Look at it. This one is Nigeria, and the name is it's called DSTV Compact Plus HD, and the price is right there, the amount to be paid for that particular package. So let's and also that should also be a label name that called a smart card number. So this part is where you have to put the customer number, okay, or the smart card number. So that is just what that is. I think we have a lot of bills on this page, peculiarly, just particularly for DSTV and cable TV. Just for DSTV, GOTV, and even Startimes, you should be able to find Startimes here. Okay, so we have, this one is Nova. So we have yeah, look at, we have start time right here, so you can also make use of start time if you want. All right, so that's just basically how to filter the cables out. Now let's filter the power. So if we go back to the development environment and we'll change this from cables to power. All right, so let's change that from cables to power. And if we save, and then let's try refreshing this page, it's going to change this contents and then filter only powers for us. That's electricity bill payments, and that also worked. So if you take a look at that, you see that everything that we have on this place now is all about electricity payment. That's the power. Okay, so it's all about electricity payment. Now if you scroll to the top, start coming down from the top, you see that everything will have it. This is a prepaid top up. We have postpaid top up. Just basically all the, if you are living in Eco, you should be able to get it here. This is for Eco electricity bill for prepaid. Okay, and this one is also the same Eco. And if you are living in maybe in Ibadan, you will get your own from here. Look at Ibadan here. Biller name is Ibadan. Is a Ibadan Disco electricity prepaid top up, and you have to enter the biller, the label name. That's the meter, the customer right there. And that's basically, that's Nigeria. If you watch it, this is Nigeria. The countries I'm mentioning is Nigeria. So, but if you are living in any other country like Ghana, you should also be able to find it here. All of them are in this place. Okay, so I'm living in Enugu at this moment, so my own should be found here. Look at my own right here. Okay, so this column is for me. So this is Enugu Disco electric bills prepaid top up. Even the postpaid is also found down here. So this is the one that I want now. Okay, I'm going to just work on this particular one, and I want you to take bear the biller code in mind, get the biller underscore name also in mind, and even the meter number. This particular one is also should be on the mind. So I'm going to basically, we're going to basically make use of this now. Okay, so yeah, so let's go back to our development environment. That's when we should now start talking about validating a bill. Okay, so that is just that. I'm going to go to this page where we have validate bill. All right, so on this page, what I'm going to do now is to throw in my PHP tag right here and then close it out here like that. And I'm going to go ahead and then paste just the similar code that we already pasted when we worked on bill categories. Okay, so I'll paste that now and then we'll modify. So this is basically the code that we're going to need to validate a bill right now. And I'm going to take you to the documentation page so that we can also look at it together. But however, we need to include our bearer token right here, which is the key, and we can get that from the previous page we just worked on. So if we go to categories, and then we can copy our API key right here, and we can go back and then stick it right there. So this is going to be ticked to this place just like that. So the next thing that we need to get now is going to be this URL, which we'll get from the documentation on this web page. So if we go to the documentation right now and we'll go to validate bill, that's where we're going to now. And if you are on the section right now, the first thing I want you to get is this particular URL. That is the endpoint to validating a bill on Flutterwave. So we'll copy that, and before we move, I want to explain a couple of things right here. So if you see the parameters, the path parameters that we're going to need, we're going to need an item underscore code, which is really within the page that we just generated before getting to display. That is the biller categories. We should be able to get that biller underscore code. Look at it right here. Okay, we're going to need that on this page, on this URL. We're going to have to include that right there, and then we are going to also need something called code. So if you scroll down, take a look at that. Take your time to read the meaning of all of these things. Okay, so but we are going to basically need a code, and we're also going to need a customer, which this customer is going to be a unique customer. If you are working on phone number, this customer is going to be not really working on phone number but AirTime or data. This customer is going to be the phone number. But now that we're working on bills payments, this customer is going to be the smart card number or the electricity. So this customer is going to be changed to meter number. And I hope that you guys kind of capture what I'm trying to explain. Then the authorization key, which we have already included. All right, so if we go back to our development environment right now, the first thing we need to do is to paste that URL that I just copied to the appropriate place, and we need to go ahead and change this immediately, which is the item code. And to get that, if we go back to the browser and we go to this particular place, we are going to, that item code is right here, okay, right here. So I'm going to copy that. That's the first thing we need, item underscore code. I'll go back to the development environment, and then I'm going to go ahead and then paste it right here. Okay, so you're going to be pasted right here, and then after that, the other parameters that we need, such as the code and then the customer, is going to be included here. How do we include that? I'm going to just create a variable by using question sign, and I'm going to just type code, and I'll set that to be equal to whatever that should be. So I'm going to go back to the browser right now and then get the code, the biller code, which is this. I'll copy that and then go back and paste it right there. And then I'm going to need another parameter, which I'm going to just use ampersand, then say customer, like that, and I'm going to go ahead and then paste the customer in there, which this customer is going to be the meter number. So you are going to have to give me time to get the meter number and then paste it right there. All right, so the meter number is going to be 015 and 015 900 and 165 2811. So that's going to be the customer right there, and that's the meter number. And in the future, we're going to dynamically bring this in. We're not going to statically type it like this. Okay, so we're going to create a form that we're going to be using to grab onto this. But for now, that is just what that is. So let's save this web page right now and then give it a try on our browser. So if we go to our browser right now, and let's copy this URL. So if we create a new tab from here right now, let's go ahead and paste that URL right there, and then change that from categories to validate.php, which is the page that we are working on right now. So this is going to be validate.php, and if we click, get into that particular file right now, let's see what that is going to give to us. And congratulations, that bill really validated just fine. So we were able to get success on the status, and if we watch the message that came back, it says item validated successfully. And not only that, we're able to get the name that is attached to that particular bill. This is S. Stanley C. Okay, that was really cool. That was really cool. And then you can see the maximum amount and then the minimum amount that you can pay. Even the customer itself that we talked about, they are just quite right here. Okay, however, what I want to do right now is not just to statically stick in the variable name, the what is it called, the meter number right here. Okay, so we're going to take this and then make it look a little bit more elegant. And how do we do that? We're going to have to put a form on this page and then should be able to grab onto this particular item or customer item from the form. Okay, so before we do that, what I want us to do right now is to first of all work on our home page, and then we can move from our home page to this page. So what do we do right now? We need to go to our index page. So let's go to our index page. All right, so on the home page, we are going to generate the HTML boilerplate, and then we can go ahead and change the title right here, which is going to be called, I think we will basically call that, so we call that electricity and then cable bill payments, like that. And we are going to, I'm going to copy that, and then I should create, let me go ahead and create a div right here, which I'm going to call div class is going to be set to be equal to, let's call that container, like that. And let's go ahead and close the div down here. So that's going to be div, and within this place I'm going to need a h1, which is a heading, and I'll paste that text that I just copied. Then go ahead and then close that right here, which is going to be div, not div but h1, like that. And I'm going to go ahead to, let me just add a HR right here, which is horizontal roller bar, to that place. And if I create, let's go ahead and create a paragraph down there, so which is going to be paragraph P, like that. And we can say something like, let's say click on any service. Let's say click on any service slash product to validate, and let's go ahead and close that paragraph right here. And the next one that I want to create now is going to be a paragraph, but inside of that paragraph I'm going to have links inside of it. So this is going to be href, and we can set that to be equal to maybe this, let's say we'll set that to be equal to this particular page now that I want to get into. So this is going to be validate.php like that, and then we can go ahead and then I'll put a text that we want people to see. So we can say something like electric let's say electric bill validation, something of that nature, just like that. And let's go ahead and copy that. Let me close that well, and then we can go ahead and then copy it and then use that for the next line that we want to create. So I'm going to paste this down here, and this should be going to validate underscore GOTV. I think we created that file before. Now look at it right here. Okay, so and we can change the text to something like let's say GOTV validation. So this is going to be GOTV validation, just like that, or GOTV payment. Okay, so that's just basically how we want that to look. But then we want to be able to link to our CSS right now. So to link to our CSS, we're going to just say link well. We'll set that to be equal to style sheet. And the next thing we need now is to, let's say href, and we can go ahead and then bring in the file which is called style.css, which is right up here. So this is the file that we're talking about. So what I'm going to do right now is to copy the basic CSS that I want to add to that page onto this page, and then I will show you the results, and we can go ahead and then have that pasted on this page. So if I save right now and we'll go back to our browser, so let's try to visit that home page. So the stuff is going to take us, let's go to the home page of this application. So if I refresh this home page right now, we should be able to see the styles apply to the home page. And this is how the home page is right now, but it seems like the CSS is not coming in. So let's check to find out why it is not coming in. Maybe we didn't save, I think we didn't save our home page. So let's save the changes. We didn't save that, so let's save it now. And if we get that saved, and let's go back to the browser, that if we refresh, we should be able to see the style. And that is it. So congratulations, you see that the style came in, and if you click on this link that takes you to that web page, it's going to go ahead and validate. So let's click on that. All right, so that is that. It is going to go and then validate that. However, we don't want it to always validate immediately someone clicks on that link. We want to be able to provide a form where you have to pass in your meter number or your cable smart card number before it can validate. You can click on submit, then it can validate. So that's the next thing that we're going to do right now. So we'll modify the code that is on this validate.php. So let's go to that page now. All right, so to go to that page and then create that form, we need the HTML boilerplate on that page. So I'm going to copy this page now, and once I copy that and go to validate.php, we can go ahead and paste it down here. So let's go ahead and paste that in here, and what we'll need basically is to add a form to this page. So we are going to create a form right now to this thing, so we don't really need quite a few things right here. So but we're going to need that h1 in there, and all right, so let's basically go ahead and create the form down here. So to create a form is really very simple. And let's say I'm going to use field set right here, and so this is going to be field set, and within this field sets I'm going to create a legend. So let the legend be like this, and I'm going to add a text inside of that legend, because I'm going to just say something like fill out the form. Then I'll close the legend, and then I'll go ahead and close the field set. So this is going to be field set like that, and that is it for that field set. So I'm going to create the form proper now. So this form, and action is going to be set to be equal to, it's going to be empty strings because I want to use this page for the processing. Then I'm going to set the method to be equal to let's say that is going to be post, and we're going to need an input. So I'm going to just say input type, and I'm going to set that to be equal to number. So that's going to be equal to number like that, and that is going to have a name. Let's set the name to be equal to, let's call that customer. So that's going to be customer right there, and then we can set that particular field to be required so that people will have to fill in something before they can proceed. After that, let's add a placeholder that we're going to go ahead and call let's say something like enter meter. So that's going to be meter number. We'll say something like smart card. Let me close this out so that you see what I'm typing. So smart card number. So just like that, and then we can go ahead and terminate. Close out that. And we need a submit button, so we're going to just say input, and we're going to set the type to be equal to submit. So this is going to be submit, and it's going to need a name. So let's say that the name is going to be, let's call that validate, since we're using the button to validate something. So we can set a value that's the text people can see, and let's say something like validate customer. So this is going to be validate customer. Okay, and we can go ahead and then close that out right here. And then the next thing that I want us to change now is to just add a couple of things to this place, which let's go ahead and you know what, let's leave this out for now. Let's let it be there for now. I'm going to just go ahead and delete that, but I'm going to add something to it later. So what I want to do first of all is to move on to the PHP part of this application. So what I want to do is that once someone clicks on this submit button, once somebody clicks on this, I want something to happen, and what I want to happen is to grab whatever the person has typed on this field. To do that in PHP is really simple. So we're going to do that up here. So let's wrap that in an if statement. So if is set, so we're going to just say $_post validate, I believe we'll call that validate. And once that happens, we want to run the code that is in this curly bracket. So I'm going to take the closing curly bracket, then scroll to the bottom of this page, and then put that right there, just like that. And the next thing that I need to do now, if I go back to the top here, I want to grab onto that customer. So I'm going to create a variable that I'm going to call customer, and I will set that to equal to $_post, and the name of that particular customer was called I think we'll call it customer. So we're going to just say customer, and we can wrap this with a security function called HTML special chars, just in case people may try to do harm to our system. We want to use this to protect it. HTML special chars bracket right here. Alright, so that just have to grab the customer, and what we need to do right now is to go ahead and then if we copy this, we need to dynamically be bringing that into this place. So we're going to change this to that variable name. So I'm going to paste that variable called customer right here. So with that, we've been able to dynamically grab whatever someone types in the form and then paste it right there. Okay, so that is just that for now. And then the next thing, alright, so the next thing that I want us to do now is to be able to grab onto whatever we have on the screen. You see we have success on this status right now. I want us to check for any time this success is really present, we should be able to grab the customer, grab the maximum, the minimum, and then even the name of the customer, and then put it on the page for us to see. Okay, but if there is none, if it is not success, let's say it is error that we have on the page, we want to be able to display different information on the screen for them. So if we go back to our development environment, and let's go down and do it down here. So if we do that down at this place, it's not going to be bad. So let's do it here. And then how do we do that? The first thing that we need to do now is to make sure that whatever that is coming back from Flutterwave as it is right now, we want to convert it to a JSON object so that we can use arrows to access them. So what I'm going to do right now is to create a variable right here. So let's say that the variable that I'm going to create right now is going to be, let's call that result, and we can go ahead and then use the function that is called a JSON underscore decode, and we can go ahead and then pass in this particular variable that we have up here. We are going to pass it onto this particular function, and then we can now begin to make use of this particular variable with whatever we want to fetch. So for instance, if I want to fetch the status right now, I can just say status, create a variable for it first of all, and I can set that to be equal to result. Then I can now use arrow like this, say something like let's say status, like that, and then with that I'll fetch the status, and let me also fetch the message So this is going to be, I'll paste it down here, and I'm going to just say message and go ahead and set that to equal to message. Okay, yeah, so and I'm able to make use of that. All right, so the next thing that we want to do right now is to fetch some other things which include even the owner name, the meter number, the maximum amount, and then the minimum amount. And before we can do that, we really need to get into the data first. So let me show you that data. There is an array here called data. If you want to grab everything that is inside of this place, you need to pass through this data called array. And I'm going to show you how to do that in the coding environment. So first of all, I want to check if what is in the status is equal to success. Okay, so how do we do that? We can pick the variable that is called success right here. So I'm going to just say if success is equal to this time around, let's say success, which is what we are searching for in the status. So if it is equal to success, we want to go ahead and then grab the customer name or the owner name. So the first thing I want to grab now is the owner name. So I'm going to just say owner underscore name, and we're going to go ahead and set that to be equal to what I'm going to do now is to go ahead and say result, and from result we need to go into data. So this is what I was talking about showing you. So the first thing we want to grab is the customer name, which is name here, and we're also going to need the customer, and we're also going to need the maximum and the minimum. Okay, so let us do that now. And so what that means, I'm going to just use an arrow, and I will say something like just name, like that. And I'm going to copy this line and paste it a couple more times, you know. So this one is going to be, instead of owner name this time around, I think we should fetch the meter, call that meter number, like that, and we're going to change this to customer. So this is going to be customer. Okay, if you want to double check that, look at it. So this is customer, that's why I'm grabbing that. So that is it. So the next one that I want to grab onto now is going to be the minimum amount. So let's take the min, and we can just say something like amount, and we'll change this name from name to, let's say, minimum. So that's going to be minimum, like that. And I'm going to copy this, then paste it over this, and so I'm going to go ahead and then paste that right here. And instead of minimum this time around, this one is going to be maximum. So we are going to just say max, as maximum amount, and we're going to change this to maximum, like that. So I think that basically that is what we need to fetch right now. And then we are going to find a way of displaying this to the customers where close to this form down here. Okay, and then to do that, let's go ahead and do that now. So I'm going to bring back that H1 right here. And there's one more thing that we would have supposed to have. Okay, I think we have that in place. That is this message right here, this particular message. I want to be able to print out the message in here. So I'm going to just say php echo message, and I'm going to terminate that line just like that. And the next one that I want to work on right now, or bring to that page, is to bring in the owner name, and I'm going to put that in a paragraph. So this is going to be P, and I'm going to just say, let's say owner name, and let's put a colon, and we can just say php echo that variable name that is called owner name, like that. And we can go ahead and then terminate the PHP, and also go ahead and close the P tag. And I'm going to copy this because I'm going to do things that are going to look similar to it. So I'll copy that, then paste it on the next line. And the next thing that I want to do now is the meter number. So this is going to be, we're going to just say meter number, and we can change this from owner name to meter number, like that, which is the variable. And then the next one that we want is going to be the, I think is going to be the minimum amount. So we can change this to minimum amount. So this is going to be minimum amount to recharge, and then we can go ahead and change this to min amount. So this is going to be min amount, and I will copy this and use that for the max. Sorry about that. So this is going to be, I'll copy that and paste that down here. So this is going to be maximum amount, and I'm going to change this to max. So that's maximum amount for that part. And that's just basically the few things that we need in there. However, if we save this page now and we'll try to kind of refresh the web page, we could get an error. We could get an error somewhere. And you know what? Okay, you know what? Let's get into this form right now, and there is a line that I want to paste in here right now, which is going to be always showing me the status of the message, which is going to be a paragraph again, and I'm going to give that an inline styling, which is going to be just color, and I'm going to set the color to be equal to red. Okay, and let's go ahead and then kind of terminate that line right there. So this is going to be, we're going to just say PHP echo message. So I'm trying to still output that message that we have up there in that place again. So I hope that does not really confuse you. Okay, so that's just what that is right now. And if we try to save this web page now and we'll try to reload, if there is nothing in the this status right now, we're going to always be getting an error. Okay, in fact, let me save this page and then reload it so that you understand what I'm talking about. If we refresh this web page now, we're going to notice that we'll have an error. Okay, so we have unclosed this online 60. So let's find out that one. That is not the error I'm talking about, but let's find out where this particular error is coming from, and we should be able to close that somewhere. Online 60. Wow. I'm thinking that the error should be coming up from okay, that should be coming from this place. I think it should be coming from this place. So the first curly bracket does not have a closing curly bracket, corresponding curly bracket, so we need to put that right here. And if we add an else part to this particular line, I think it won't be bad at all. So let's say else, like that. So let's save this. I haven't changed much. I only closed this and then added an else part. That's just what I did. I closed it out here and then added an else part. Okay, so we should be able to, must have treated this particular error right now, and then we should be greeted with a different error though. And that's the error I'm been, kind of trying to show you. Okay, so we have these errors right now. They said undefined variable, message, all these things. So this is the error I'm expecting that we're going to have right now, and let me show you why that error is showing up. So it's really because the status of the message is not set to what is it called? It's not set to success at this moment. So for that reason, all the variables we have are empty right now. So it's going to be showing us that particular error. All right, so to solve these issues now that we have right here is really very simple. We're just basically going to set all of those variables that we have here right now. We're going to just set them to empty strings at the top of this page. That's just one way to get rid of this particular problem, because that's checked on the status and the status is not set to. So the status is not set to success. For that reason, it's all of the variables that we have here will not be set. So let's copy these variables and then paste them. All right, so I have that variable copied, and if I go to the top of this page right now, and let me just go ahead and paste that right here, and so that's it. I'm going to go ahead and set this to be equal to, let's say that owner name is going to be, we can set it to empty strings like this, and let me copy this, and then we can use that for this one. So that's what we have on this place. Also put the same thing in here, and then for the maximum, should also put that right there. And one more thing that we have not done is the message, so we can go ahead and put the message right here. So I'm going to just say message, and we can set that to, let's say, empty strings right there. Okay, so if we save this and then go back to the browser and refresh that web page, we should not be able to get that error initially anymore. And as you can see, we have that right now. So you see, everything is now set to empty string, empty strings, empty strings, empty strings. Okay, so but when we fill this form and hit validate customer, you see that these things are going to be updated. So let's try and fill this form right now and see whether that is going to validate and then show us, change all of these things to what we want it to show us. All right, so if we go ahead and then fill in the the meter number, and then we go ahead and click on validate customer. If everything works fine, we should be able to have that updated. And congratulations, you see that that really validated successfully, and it was able to change those places where we have empty strings. All right, it was able to dynamically change everything and then have that on the form. Okay, so that is just what we're talking about. Okay, so had it been that the meter number wasn't really correct, it's going to show you empty strings right here, and then the message is going to be something like an invalid customer ID selected, which we need to kind of do something to that right now. So if we go back to our development environment, all right, so under this place where we have maximum, I want to create a new variable right here, which I'm going to just go ahead and call proceed, and I'm going to create a paragraph right there, which basically the paragraph is going to it's just going to be in form of, I'm going to create a link inside of that paragraph though. So what I'm going to do right now is to create a link right inside of that place, which is going to be href. I'm going to set that to be equal to the bill payment page, which we basically call the pay.bill. So I'm going to put that particular file right here, paybill.php, and I want to kind of put the link, the customer ID to the URL. And to do that, we can just put a question mark, and we can just say customer, where this customer can be anything, it's just a variable name. So I'm going to just say customer ID, and that is going to be set equal to the meter number, which we have right here. I'm going to copy this meter number and then paste it right here. Okay, so that way I will be able to put the customer, the meter number to the URL, just like that. And then we can go ahead and then kind of terminate this line right here. So we can go ahead and terminate that, and we can put a text like continue to payment page, and then we can finally close out the link and then close the p tag right there. Then we can go ahead and terminate that particular line. And what we're going to do right now is that I'm going to first of all copy this and go to the top of this page, paste it among those things that we have here, and then set that initially to empty. So this is going to be empty like that. And I still want to scroll down to the field part of this web application, which is around this place. I want to be able to print out the result of that on this place. And to put that is really very simple. What I'm going to do just now is to go ahead and then say, if I say PHP, we can just go ahead and then echo that particular variable out here, which is called proceed, and we can close out the what is it called, the PHP tag right there. Okay, and yeah, so that's just what that I think that should be. And one more thing that we could do now is to go to this else part, and we can update this proceed right here. We can update it to something like message, like that, and then you save this web page. So you see that once we go to this web page right now, and we are able to validate the customer. So I'm going to refresh this page first of all. Let me refresh this page right now. So everything is set to empty right now. So if I go ahead and then I kind of put that customer number again, what is it called, the meter number. So let's put the meter number, which is 015900165, then 2811. If we go ahead and validate this and it goes through, we should be able to see a link that will take us to the customer's the pay bill page. So you see that once that validates successfully, this link is going to show up. But if it does not validate, that link will not show up. Rather, a different message should be able to show. So let me just put some random number like that, and then claim that it is the customer meter number. So once I click on validate, you're going to notice something here right now. So this message should change to something like invalid customer. And that is that. So the link disappeared and will now have invalid customer. Okay, so this is basically how to go about validating a customer, and I think that this is a good place to stop this video. And then in the next one, we're going to go ahead and work on how to validate what is it called, a way to validate GOTV, which is going to be similar to this. You just have to copy this page and then modify some certain things. Okay, just a few things, and then you have the page ready for validation of GOTV. And after that, we'll go ahead and then do that of the paybuild.php, which will be the final part of the application. So thank you guys for watching, and then I will see you in the next one.